My dear viewers, welcome to a story so strange, so baffling, that even the ancestors are probably shaking their heads right now. This is the tale of Okumu, the elder who refused to be buried. Yes, you heard that right. Not even death could keep Okumu from having the final say. Okumu, the man, the legend. In life, he was known for his unshakable stubbornness. Okumu never lost an argument, not because he was always right, but because he simply refused to stop talking until the other person gave up. He was the self-proclaimed king of his village, the undefeated champion of stubbornness, and, according to his own words, he's the only man who could argue with God and win. In life, Okumu ruled the roost. In death, he was no different. You'd think that once someone's heart stops, they'd finally learn to rest. But not Okumu. No, sir. Even in death, he had one final performance planned. The day began like any other funeral day, somber, heavy, and filled with the scent of overboiled tea. The family had come together to honor their elder, Okumu, and take him on his final journey home. At the morgue, a place where peace is supposed to reign, but since Okumu was involved, even peace came with conditions. The hearse was polished, the mourners were ready, and the goat for the funeral feast was tied securely in the back of a pickup. Everything seemed perfect. Until it wasn't. The hearse refused to start. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. The driver insisted it was just a mechanical hiccup. After many trials, the hearse finally roars to life. The crowd cheers, and the convoy sets off. The driver drove as though the coffin might jump out at any moment. Behind him, the mourners sang half-heartedly, their voices tinged with suspicion. "This is only the beginning," someone whispered. And boy, they were right. For a while, it seemed as though all would go smoothly. But halfway through the journey, just as the convoy was making good time, the hearse sputtered and stopped. At first, people thought it was just a minor hiccup. The driver hopped out, checked the engine, and declared confidently, "Just give me 5 minutes." 5 minutes turned into 10. 10 minutes turned into 30. The mourners began to grow restless. Someone joked, "Okumu must be tired of traveling already." Little did they know, that wasn't far from the truth. At this point, the elders took over. They sprinkled herbs, mumbled prayers, and even waved chicken feathers around like wands. But the hearse didn't budge. Determined to continue the journey, the family summoned a second hearse. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, along came hearse number 2, the understudy in this bizarre funeral drama. It pulled up like a knight in shining armor, or at least a Toyota in decent condition. But as soon as the coffin was transferred, guess what? Yep, it broke down too. Coincidence? I think not. At this point, the villagers were divided. Half blamed the hearse, claiming it was cursed. The other half blamed Okumu, claiming he was cursed. But one thing was clear, nobody was getting home anytime soon. Panic spread like wildfire. Women clutched their headscarves, children cried, and even the drummers looked like they were ready to flee. Finally, the family decided to take charge. One by one, they approached the hearse, trying to convince Okumu to behave. And so began the most absurd negotiation in funeral history. First came Okumu's eldest brother, a man known for his booming voice. "Okumu, my brother, what is the meaning of this? We have honored you with the best coffin, the best food. What more do you want?" Then came his niece, her voice trembling. "Uncle, please, let us take you home. It's getting late." Even the preacher stepped forward, waving his Bible dramatically. "In the name of all that is holy, Okumu, move." But the hearse remained still. And then from the shadows of awkward family dynamics stepped Okumu's sister-in-law. Now, she and Okumu had a history, one that nobody dared talk about but everyone secretly gossiped about. She walked to the hearse, knelt down beside it, and whispered something. What she said, nobody heard. All they saw was her lips moving and her hands trembling. And just like that, the hearse sprang to life, as if Okumu had finally decided to play nice. But why? What had she said? What had she done? The sister-in-law walked back to her spot, silent and unreadable, while the convoy resumed its journey. By the time the convoy reached the burial site, the mood had shifted. The unease was still there, but it was now mixed with a heavy dose of curiosity. What had the sister-in-law said? What secrets had she whispered to Okumu's spirit? Was it an apology? No one dared ask her, and she volunteered nothing. But the questions hung in the air, unspoken yet palpable. The villagers were on edge. And then came the final twist. As they opened the coffin to pay their last respects, they noticed something shocking. Okumu's fists were clenched tight. Now, according to tradition, a deceased person's hands should always be relaxed, symbolizing peace. But when they opened the coffin, Okumu's fists were clenched. What does this mean? Is he angry? Did we do something wrong? The elders were baffled. The women started ululating, not in celebration, but in fear. And the drummers, they stopped playing altogether. But the family, exhausted and overwhelmed, decided to go ahead with the burial, or so they thought. The burial proceeded as planned, but the unease lingered. Okumu's fists remained tightly clenched, a sight that unsettled even the most stoic elders. And then there was the sister-in-law, silent, distant, her expression unreadable. What had she done? What had she said to make the hearse move? The answers were buried with Okumu, leaving the village with more questions than closure. And so, dear viewer, the mystery deepens. Why did Okumu's spirit resist the journey home? What secrets does his sister-in-law hold? What secrets did he take to his grave? And what do his clenched fists truly mean? The answers may lie in the next episode, or perhaps they lie beyond what the living can comprehend. But for now, let me ask you, what do you think? Was Okumu angry, cursed, or simply stubborn even in death? Drop your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Because if Okumu refused to stay in one place in life, what makes you think his story will rest now? Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and keep your fists open.